Kelly Cam, y'all give me a fit. If y'all hear that door, if y'all hear a knock on the door, just let me know because I might not hear it. Y'all hear a knock. So. Oh, Miss, also, this stuff is online too, so any of these classes go online. I'm gonna show you where you can find them online. All right, here we go. We're good. We're live. All right, shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatham to all the Akim out there, and Yahweh Shamar Alatham by Shem Yahushua to all the Akwathian. This is the Baltimore Sabbath service, May 27, 2023. Of course, this is a heathenistic weekend, the Memorial Day weekend. Of course, the Most High would not want us to acknowledge Memorial Day due to every war that blacks and Hispanics and natives have fought in. We never got the credit for anyway, and you can see that we haven't obtained any type of rights, liberties, or anything like that. But we'll probably go into that afterwards. We're going to start. We've been reading the book of Samuel, 2 Samuel, talking about King David and talking about his rise to becoming a king. We know that King David was replaced by, King David replaced King Saul because of Saul's disobedience. And that could be a lesson to all of us that we can have humble beginnings like Saul. But if you disobey the Most High can remove any of us. And nobody, above the law per se. So what we're going to do, last week, we saw that King David arose to power because he was obedient. However, we're going to see today that King David also got sidetracked because of a woman, which caused him to sin, miss the mark, and it caused him to commit adultery. And we'll talk about what adultery is between a man and woman, but we can review that. Adultery for a woman is if she's married to a man and then she sleeps with a man that is not her husband. Okay, that is adultery for a woman, because that would make her like a whore per se. Adultery for a man is if a man takes another man's wife, like he's taking another man, a woman that belongs to another man, he takes and sleeps with her. He is an adulterer as well. And in this story, we find out that King David saw a married woman whose name was Bathsheba. And this married woman was the wife of Uriah. And King David saw her. She was bathing on the rooftop. He saw her. He desired her. And he took her and he slept with her. And then the problem was that she became pregnant. So King David, trying to cover up his error, called in Uriah from the battle because his men were out to war. So King David pretty much called Uriah from war and tried to get him to go sleep with Bathsheba. So that, he could cover up what he did. But both King David and Bathsheba were in error because Bathsheba belonged to Uriah and King David took another man's wife. And that was his error. That was his sin. So we're going to read today how David covers it up. My young brothers out there, anytime you want to come up and read, just feel free. But if y'all have any questions, please come up and ask questions. What we do every week is we read the scriptures in the Hebrew first. The Hebrew is our original tongue. It's called the Lashon Kodash, means the holy tongue. The tongue that does the words that we're speaking right now are the words of our oppressor. English came from our oppressor who enslaved us. And one of the things the oppressor did was to make it so that we would forget our identity. And that's why blacks don't know who they are. That's why blacks claim to be 50 billion things, because that was the oppressor's that was the oppressor's goal, was to make sure that we don't know who we are. And a lot of times people find their identity through language, because language separates you, and especially the Hebrew language. So every time that we're in service, we read in the Hebrew, and then we read in the English. And so, like I said, if you have any questions about the Hebrew, we definitely have online classes. Also, we're going to be starting back up the class here, the Lashawan Kodash, and we always try to make it fun, so people can, not be bored of learning another language. Another language can be hard to learn. All right, so let's get started. We're in 2 Samuel 11. We're in 2 Samuel 11, and we're going to be starting in verse 13 today. 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 13. I'm going to read it in the Hebrew, the 7 scriptures, and they'll be in English. 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 13, in the Hebrew. Wayakorah, Lawa, Dawada, Wayakal, Lapunyawa, Wayawaf, Wayashaf, Wayakarahawa, Wayatazawa, Ba'airab, Lashakab, Bamashakabwa, Ain, Ibadya, Adanyawa, Wa'al, Bayafwa, La'a, Yarad. Verse 14. Wayahaya, Babakwar, Wayakathab, Dawada, Sapar, All, Waya'ab, Wayashalak, Bayad, a warrior. Verse 15. Wayakathab, Basapar, La'amar, Habwa, Af, a warrior, All, Mawal, Punya, Hamala, Kumwaha, Kazakha, Washabathma, Ma'akar, Yawa, Wanaka, Wa'amath. Verse 16. Wayahaya, Basha Mawar, Yawa'ab, All, Ha'ayar, Wayafun, Af, a warrior, All, Hama Kwam, Ashar, Yadai, Kaya, Anashya, Khayal, Sham. Verse 17. Wayataza Awa, Anashya, Ayar, Waya Lachamwa, Af, Waya Ab, Salaki, Yawaab, Waya Paul, Mun, Ha'ain, Ma'ibadya, Jawada, Waya Maf, Gum, a warrior, Hakathya. Verse 18. Waya Shalak, Yawaab, Waya God, La Dawada, Af, Call, Dabaria, Hamala Kama. Verse 19. Waya Tazawa, Af, Hamalak, La Amar, Kakalawathka, Af, Call, Dabaria, Hamala Kama, La Dabar, All, Hamalak. And that's it. All right, now we're going to be reading in the English. All right, we're going to be reading 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 13 in the English, and we're going all the way through verse 19. 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 13. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him. Now, let me give you context. He called Uriah. Uriah is the husband of Bathsheba. So David called him back from war. Okay, so that's what it's saying. David called him. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And at evening he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his Lord, but went not down into his house. So this is how honorable Uriah was. Uriah didn't even go down to his woman. He came back from war, and David was pretty much encouraging him to go sleep with his wife. Go sleep with your wife. You're out. But Uriah was so honorable that he stayed and pretty much lied down with the servants. Verse 14. And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. So David saw that Uriah was not going to go up to his wife. He was not going to go and sleep with his wife. So David had another plan to cover up his sin. Okay? So what he did is he's going to send Uriah, who is, one of his mighty men. He's going to write a letter and have Uriah deliver it to his commander, his captain of his army. Okay, verse 15. And he wrote in the letter saying, set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may die smitten and die. Okay, that he may be smitten and die. So pretty much he said, when y'all go out to battle, put Uriah on the hottest part of the war, the part of the battle where it gets real hot in there, where there's, where all the mighty men are battling up front, and have your men retreat and retire so that he can die. Okay, so Joab had to read this, verse 16. And it came to pass when Joab observed the city that he assigned Uriah into a place where he knew that valiant men were. So Joab, the captain, put Uriah in a spot that he knew that the battle was going to be serious. Verse 17. And when the men of the city went out and fought with Joab, and there fell some of the people of the servants of David, and Uriah the Hittite also died. So Uriah was killed in battle. So David felt like, pretty much my sin, my error has been covered up, and now pretty much I can take this man's wife. All right. Verse 18. Then Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war. Verse 19. And he charged the messenger, saying, when thou hast made an end of telling the matters of the war unto the king. All right. And that's it for that one. So we see here that David's going to has made an attempt to cover it up. What his error was, pretty much of causing a valiant man to die in battle because he couldn't, because that man did not go sleep with his wife. And so we're going to see what happens next in the story. Many of you might already know, but we're still going to analyze it, break it down. All right, now we're going to be reading 2 Samuel 11, 20 through 26. So, go ahead, sis. I'm sorry. Somebody's at the door? Okay, let me give me 1 second. Somebody listen out, because I won't hear it off the stage. That's cool. The water too, sister. All right, so now we're going to be reading 2 Samuel 11. We're going to be reading verses 20 through 26 in the Hebrew. Then we're going to read it in the English. 2 Samuel 11, verse 11, verse 20. Wayhaya. Fa'Allah, Kamath, Hamalak, wa Amar, Laka, Madawai, Nasha Thumma, Ha'ayar, Lahamalak, Salaki, Lahalakam, Halawa'a, Yadaitham, Af, Ashar, Yarai, Yarwa, Salaki, Ma'al, Haha, Ma, verse 21. Maya, Haka, Af, Abaya Malak, Bun, Yabara Shaf, Halawa'a, Asha, Hasha Layaka, Alya, Palak, Rakab, Ma'al, Hakawama, Yamath, Bafabai, Lama, Naga Shatham, all, Hakama Wama, Wa Amartha, Gum, Ibadka, Iwaria, Hakafya, Math, verse 22. Wayalak, Hamala Ak, Wayaba'a, Wayagad, Ladawada, Af, Call, Ashar, Shalakwa, Yawa'ab, verse 23. Wayamar, Hamalak, Al, Dawada, Kaya, Gabarwa, Al Yanawa, Anashium, Waya Tazaawa, Al Yanawa, Hashada, Wana Ya, Al Yahum, Aid, Pafak, Hasha Ir, verse 24. Waya Ra'awa, Hama Rayam, Al, Ibadka, Ma'al, Haka wa Ma, Waya Mawafya, Ma'ibadya, Hamalak, Wagum, Ibadka, a warrior, Hakamafya, Hakafya, Math, verse 25. Wayamar, Dawada, all, Hamalak, Kaha, for Amar, Al, Waya'ab, Al, Yarai, Ba'ayanyaka, Af, Hadabar, Hazah, Kaya, Kaza, Wazah, for Akal, Hakarab, Hakazak, Mafka, Al, Hayar, Waharasa, Wakazak, Hawa. Verse 26. With a Shemai, a thug, a warrior, Kaya, Maf, a warrior, a Yasha, with a Sapad, Al, Ba'ila. And that's it. All right, now we're going to be reading this in the English. All right, we're in 2 Samuel 11, 20 through 26. And if anybody has any questions, please go ahead and feel free to ask. 2 Samuel 11, verse 20. And it so be that the king's wrath arise, and he say unto thee, wherefore approached ye so near unto the city when you did fight? Know you not that they would shoot from the wall? Verse 21. So this is Joab talking, telling the messenger what to say to David. And he's saying, if David responds in this way, this is what you shall say. Verse 21, who smote Abimelech, the son of, Abimelech, the son of Jerubbesheth? Did not a woman cast a piece of a millstone upon him from the wall, that he died in Thebez? Why went ye near the wall? Then say thou, thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So he's saying, when you go send the message, make sure you say that Uriah is dead. This will confirm to David that Uriah is gone. Okay? And David wanted to hear that message anyway, so that he could go ahead and take Bathsheba. Verse 22. So the messenger went and came and showed David all that Joab had sent for him. Verse 23. And the messenger said unto David, surely the men prevailed against us, and came out unto us into the field, and we were upon them even unto the entering of the gate. Verse 24. And the shooters shot from off the wall upon thy servants, and some of the king's servants be dead, and thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Verse 25. Then David sent the messenger, thus shalt thou say unto Joab, let not this thing displease thee, for the sword devoureth one as well as another. Make thy battle more strong against the city, and overthrow it, and encourage down them. Verse 26. And when the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah, her husband, was dead, she mourned for her husband. All right? So Uriah is gone now. All right? He's been slain. And now we're going to see what happens with that. All right? We're going to be reading now 2 Samuel. We're going to be reading 11, verse 27. And then we're going to jump over to 2 Samuel 12, 1 through 6. All right? 2 Samuel 11, verse 27 in the Hebrew. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions? Okay. All right. 2 Samuel 11, verse 27. Waya abar, ha'aballah, ha'abal, waya shalak, dawada, waya sapa, al, bayathwa, with a ya, with a haya, lawa, la ashad, with a lad, lawa, bun, Wayarai, Habadabar, Ashar, Aisha, Dawada, Ba'ayanya, Yahweh. Verse, all right, we're in 2 Samuel 12, verse 1 in the Hebrew. Wayashalak, Yahweh, off, Nathan, all, Dawada, Wayaba'a, all Yawa, Waya Amar, Lawa, Shunyam, Anashiam, Hayawa, Ba'ayar, Akaf, Akkad, Aisha Yar, Akkad, Ra'ash, 2 Samuel verse 2, 2 Samuel 12 verse 2, Aisha Yar, Haya, Taza'an, Wabakwar, Harabah, Ma'ad, verse 3, Wala Rash, Ayan, Kal, Kaya, Kabasha, Akaf, Quatana, Ashar, Quana, Rayahya, with Gadol, Aimwa, Wa'ain, Bunyawa, Yakadwa, Mapahwa, Fa'akal, Wamakaswa, Thashatha, Wabachayakwa, Thashaka, with a hayah, lawa, kabath. Verse 4. Wayaba'a, halak, slaki. La ayash, ha'aishayar, wayakamal, la kwakaf, mataza nawa. Wama bakwarwa, la aishawaf, la arak, haba'a, lawa, wayakwak, af, kabashaf, ha'ayash, ha'ra'ash, waya aisha, la ayash, haba'a, oyua, verse 5. Wayachar, apa, dawada, ba'ayash, ma'ad, waya amar, al, nathan, chaya, yahawa, kaya, ban, mawaf, ha'ayash, ha'aisha, za'af, verse 6. Wa'af, hakabasha, yashalam, raba'aith yam, Ibak, Iquab, Ishar, Aisha, Af, Hadabar, Hazah, Wa'al, Ashar, La'ah, Chamal. And that's it. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to be reading 2 Samuel 11. We're going to start in verse 27, then we're going to go to 2 Samuel 12. 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 27. And when the morning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife. So now now that Bathsheba's husband is gone, he went and took Bathsheba, and she became his wife and bare him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased the Most High. So it just proves to you that David was covering up his sin, but the Most High saw what David did. Okay, so we ain't getting away with nothing. Okay, because David was king over all Israel, and the Most High set him up. And the Most High would have given him anything he asked. And the Most High is going to show that. All right. But the thing is that even as the king of Israel, you still got to keep the law. All right. And David knew that, because actually, when you become a king, they would have to write out the law. All right. So David knew the law. Okay. Especially when he became king. All right. He tried to cover it up. Let's find out what happens. We're in 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 1. And the Most High sent Nathan unto David. Now, Nathan is a prophet, or what they would call a seer. Okay. And the prophets, these were the men of the Most High, who would, pretty much they're like a lawyer. Ancient prophets and seers, that's actually where the word lawyer comes from. The lawyer comes from the Hebrew word loyah, and that was usually from, a Levitical priest, a Levite, a seer. That's where the American word a lawyer comes from. Somebody that stands for you, somebody that can tell you what the law is, interpret the law, can speak on your behalf. So the Most High sent Nathan, okay, unto David. Let's go back. And the Most High sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him and said unto him, there were two men in one city, the one rich and the one poor, other poor. So what Nathan is doing right here, he's actually giving David a parable. A lot of times, people can learn lessons through the stories. There's lessons in, I know when we're in school that people have read like Isupk's fables or Aesop's stories. That's a lot of them have lessons in there that we can learn. So he's starting off by telling him a story with the lesson. Verse 2, the rich man had exceedingly many flocks and herds. Verse 3, but the poor man had nothing save one little ewe lamb, which he had bought and nourished up. The ewe lamb is like a female young lamb. And it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat of his own meat and drank of his own cup and lay in his bosom, and he was unto him as a daughter. Verse 4, and there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for that man that was come to him. So Nathan's giving a story saying, there was a traveler that came. Anciently you have to treat sojourners or visitors with respect. So a traveler came to the rich man, and instead of the rich man giving all that what he had, something of he had, he's saying he took from what only thing that the poor man had, this little ewe lamb. But he's giving a lesson when he's saying this. Let's go back, verse 5. And verse 5, and David's anger was greatly kindled against the man. And he said to Nathan, as the Most High liveth, that man that has done this thing shall surely die. So David is, as king, he is pretty much pronouncing the judgment. As a king, you pronounce judgment. Whoever has done this is going, since he took from the poor man, his penalty should be death. Verse 6. And he shall restore the land fourfold, because he did this thing and because he had no pity. All right? All right. So that's, we're going to stop there as far as the English. Now we're going to pick the story up in 2 Samuel 12, 7 through 13 in the Hebrew. And we're going to find out what that story meant. Okay, because Nathan was telling David a parable. All right, let's find out what happened. 2 Samuel 12, verse 7 in the Hebrew. Why Amar, Nathan, Al, Dawada, Atha, Ha'ayash, Kaha, Amar, Yahweh, Alahaya, Yasha'ala, Anakia, Masha Kafyaka, La Malak, Al, Yasha'ala, Wa Anakia, Hatazalafya Yaka, Mayad, Sha'awal, verse 8. We're reading through verse 13. Wa'afana, Laka, Mayad, Adanyaka, Wa'af, Nashiyah, Adanyaka, Bachai Yakka, Fana, Laka, Af, Bayaf, Yasha'ala, Wayahawada, Wa'am, Ma'ait, Wa'asapa, Laka, Hakana, Wahakana, verse 9, Madawai, Bazayaf, Dabar, Yahweh, La'isha, Waf, Harai, Ba'ayanawa, Af, Awarya, Hakafya, Hakayaf, Bakabrab, Wa'af, Ashafwa, Lakwa Kaf, Laka, Asha, Wa'afwa, Haragaf, Bakara, Banya, I'm a one, Slakia. Verse 10, Wa'aitha, La'a, Thasawar, Haram, Mabayafka, Iwalum, Iquab, Kaya, Bazathanya, with a quack, Af, Ashaf, a warrior, Hakafya, Lahaya Waf, Laka, La Asha, verse 11. Kaha, Amar, Yahweh, Hananya, Makwayam, Alyaka, Raiha, Mabayafka, Wala Kwakafya, Af, Nashayaka, La Ayanyaka, Wana Fafya, La Ra'ayaka, Washakab, Ain, Nashayaka, La Ayanya, Hashamash, Haza'af, verse 12. Kaya Atha, Aishayaf, Basathar, Wa'anya, Aisha, Af, Hadabar, Hazah, Nagad, Call, Yasha'ala, Wanagad, Hashamash, verse 13. Wayamar, Dawada, Al, Nathan, Hata'afya, La Yahweh. So, Wayamar, Nathan, Al, Dawada, Gum, Yahweh, Ha'aybayar, Hata'afyaka, La'a, Thamawaf. And that's it. All right, so we're going to read about what happens. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Now we're going to read about what happens when Nathan reveals to David his error. All right, let's read 2 Samuel verses 12, verse 7 in the English. 2 Samuel verse 12, verse 7. And Nathan said to David, "Thou art the man." So David pretty much pronounced his own death here. He said, "Whoever done this shall die." And Nathan's now referring him. Now he's telling him the pretty much the moral of the story, or what we'd say the theme. The central theme is that David was this man. David was this rich man, king over Israel, the Most High giving him everything. And he took something that didn't belong to him. Okay? And David knew better. All right, let's go back. He said, "Thou art the man. Thus saith the Most High, the power of Israel. I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul." All right, we know that Saul was trying to kill David for years. And the Most High said, "I delivered you out of the hand of Saul." Verse 8, "And I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives." Let me stop right there. Okay, because I know some people, especially the Christian church, notice how the Most High even said, I gave thee wives. Okay, a man having more than one wife is not a sin. Okay, the Christian church would have you believe that. Oh, somebody said, all right, one slide. One second. All right, let's go back. Salaki on that. All right. So let me go back. Verse 8. He said, I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives. So the Most High gave David, not only gave Saul's house, he gave wives to David. David was blessed with wives. And like I said, for a man, it is not a sin for a man to have more than one wife. It was a sin when David took a man's wife. All right. And he said, let's go back. Unto thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would have moreover had given thee unto thee such and such things. Pretty much the Most High said, I'd have given you more. If that wasn't enough for you, I'd have given you more. Verse 9. Wherefore thou hast despised the commandment of the Most High, to do evil in his sight. Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife. So here's two errors that David did. He said that he killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword. Okay, so he murdered Uriah and has took his wife to be thy wife, and has slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. And he caused him to be killed by the heathen. So these are a few errors that David made. And this shows you that nobody's above the law of the Most High. Whether you're king or you're the lowest peasant. The Most High expects all of us to obey him. Okay? Verse 10. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house. David, because David did this, the Most High is giving him, he's got a penalty that he will pay. He said, the sword shall never depart from thine house. And if you know the story of David, David didn't have rest in his own house after this. His children rose up against him. His wives actually went with his sons. So there was a lot of things that were against him. There was a lot of things that he had to he paid because of this error. Because thou hast despised me and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. He's like, because you took another man's wife, you are now going to have to have a consequence. Verse 11, thou sayest the Most High, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thy own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes. He said, I'm going to take your wives now. The wives that I have given you, I'm going to take them away. And if you look at the story, that's actually what happened. And give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of this son. Verse 12. For thou didst secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. Verse 13. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Most High. Now, one thing we could say about David is a lot of us, a lot of us do. Actually, you could even go back to the garden. Let's take this back to the Garden of Eden. Let's see. This is what separates David, though, because David, you notice, did not make an excuse. Okay, a lot of times when we're pinpointed or when we're exposed, what is the first thing we do? We make an excuse. That's what happened in the Garden of Eden. Y'all know the story of the Garden of Eden. When the Most High approached Adam and Eve about their error, what did? They blamed somebody else. The woman said it was the snake. The serpent. It wasn't a literal snake, but the woman said it was the serpent. The man said it was the woman that you gave me. Okay. Notice David's attitude here. David did not say, well, it's because, I saw her naked. He didn't make an excuse. And he didn't say, well, she wanted me. Notice he did not make those excuses. David, was straight up with it. And that's, he was straight up with his error. He said, verse 13, David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Most High. And Nathan said to David, the Most High also has put away thy sin. Thou shalt not die. David should have died here. This shows how merciful the Most High is. Because David's punishment should have been death. Because you know why? Because David knew the law. Remember when he told David the story, David said the man who did this shall die. Because David knew the law. So David pretty much knew the law. So, that's why he said the man who did this thing shall die. But the Most High showed mercy to David because the Most High is a power that keeps his promises. He told David that he would raise up his seed after him. Okay, and that's the thing we do need to remember. The Most High has been very merciful to the nation of Israel because the nation of Israel, we should have been destroyed a long time ago. Okay, as a nation, because we have disobeyed the Most High. All of us have fallen short. All of us have disobeyed the Most High, but the Most High keeps his promises because of the covenant he made with Abraham, because of the promises he made. He is going to keep his promise, like he's going to keep his promise to David. He said, your son that comes out of your bowels shall reign. Okay, and we know this is talking about Yahushua the Christ that will come later. Okay, but if David would have died there, this prophecy would come to light. So he spared David. This shows the mercy. All right, verse. And the Lord Most High also has put away thy sin, thou shalt not die, and that's it. All right, we're going to go ahead and keep reading it. Anybody have any questions? Any questions? All right. We're going to go ahead and read here. We're in 2 Samuel 12. We're going to be reading 14 through 20. We're going to read it in the Hebrew first, and then we're going to read it in the English. All right. We're going to read Hebrew, then the English. All right. 2 Samuel chapter 12, 14 through 20. Apas, verse 14. Apas, Kaya, Anatazah, Atazaph, Af, Ayabya, Yahweh, Badabar, Hazah, Gum, Haban, Hayalawad, Laka, Mawaf, Yamawaf. Verse 15. Wayalak, Nathan, All, Bayafwa, Wayagat, Yahweh, Af, Hayalad, Ashar, Yalada, Ayash, Ashaf, a warrior, Ladawada, Waya Anash, verse 16, Waya Bakwash, Dawada, Af, Alahayim, Ba'aid, Hana'ayar, Hayatazam, Dawada, Tazawam, Waba'a, Walan, Washakab, Aratazaha. Verse 17, Waya Kwamwa, Zakwanya, Bayathwa, Alyawa, Laha Kwayamwa, Man, Ha'arataza, Wala'a, Abaha, Wayala'a, Bara, Atham, Lacham. Verse 18, Wayahaya, Bayawam, Hasha Bayaya, Wayamath, Halad, Wayara'awa, Ibadya, Dawada, Laha Gayad, Lawa, Kaya, Math, Hayalad, Kaya, Amarwa, Hana, Bahayawaf, Hayalad, Hayad, Dabarnawa, Alyawa, Wala'a, Shamai, Bakwa Wal Nawa, Wa Alyad, Yak, Naamar, Alyawa, Math, Hayalad, Wa Aisha, Raiha. Verse 19. Wayara'a, Dawada, Kaya, Ibadyawa, Matha Lachashyam, Wayaban, Dawada, Kaya, Math, Hayalak, Lad, Wayamar, Dawada, Ibadyawa, Hamath, Hayalad, Wayamarwa, Math. Verse 20. Wayakwam, Dawada, Maha Arataza, Waya Rakataza, Wayasak, Wayakalak, Shamal Lafwa, Wayaba'a, Bayath, Yahweh, ويشفقوا ويبقى ويفتوى ويشاء ويشيموا لوا لخم ويأكا. And that's it. All right, let's go ahead and read. We're going to read 2 Samuel 12, and we're going to be reading 14 through 20 in the English.
2 Samuel, verse 12, verse 14. Howbeit, because be this deed, thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Most High to blasphemy. The child also that is
Stop right there for a second, Slack. So when you, it's like anything. See, it's like any. I think that screen's not working. Cam, turn that screen around. I think that screen's been off. That screen right there. Yeah, it's been on. That blue screen. Is it blue? Yeah, it's still blue. Something was going on. Thanks, Cam. It's like anything. If you represent, if you leave your father's house, like and let's talk about our earthly father and mother's house, and we're not doing what we're supposed to do. You're disrespecting that family name. Okay, you're disrespecting, like, somebody said, well, what would your mother think, or your father? I know your father and mother, they know better. Well, it's the same thing with us. When we disobey the Most High, we blaspheme his name. And this is what the Most High was telling them, because now the enemies can say, well, Israel's supposed to be this righteous kingdom, but they taking men's wives. Okay, and so that's why David, that's what the Most High is saying. You blaspheme his name. Go ahead.
The child also that is born unto thee shall surely die.
So now the child that David and Bathsheba slept together to have, the child's got to die. Most High, because the Most High is the one that determines life or death. He's the one that kills. It says I kill, I make alive. Okay, so the Most High determines who lives or dies. Okay, and that's the Most High's prerogative. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And Nathan departed unto his house, and the Most High struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. Verse 16. David therefore besought God for the child, and David fasted and went in and lay all night upon the earth.
So David fasted for this child. Pretty much he was pleading with the Most High. He saw how merciful and gracious the Most High was for his life, so he pleaded for the life of the child. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And the elders of his house arose and went to him to raise up from the earth, but he would not, neither did he eat bread with them.
So this matter was important to David. All right, go ahead.
Verse 18. And it came to pass on the 7th day that the child died. And the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself, if we tell him that the child is dead? Verse 19. But when David saw that his servants whispered, David perceived that the child was dead. Therefore David said unto his servants, is the child dead? And they said, he is dead. Verse 20. Then David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came unto the house of the Most High and worshiped. Then he came to his own house, and when he required, then he came into his own house, and when he required, they set bread before him, and he did eat.
All right, excellent. You can see here, David has accepted what the Most High has done. Went into he changed his apparel, the apparel of mourning, and went in and started eating. All right. Okay, let's go to 2 Samuel. Now we're in 2 Samuel 12, 21 through 27. We're going to read in the Hebrew and then in the English. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 21 in the Hebrew. Wayamarwa, Ibadyawa, Alyawa, Maha, Hadabar, Hazah, Asha, Aisha Yatha, Ba'war, Hayalad, Chaya, Tazamath, Wathabak, Waka Ashar, Math, Hayalad, Quamath, Watha Akal, Lacham, verse 22. Wayamar Ba'aiwad Hayalad Haya Tazamathia Wa Abaka Kaya Amarthaya Maya Yawadai Yakananya Yahawa Wa Kaya Hayalad, verse 23. Wa Aitha Ma Lama Za Anya Tazam Wakal Laha Shayabya Wa Iwad Anya Halak Alyawa Wahawa La'a Yashawab Alya, verse 24. Waya Nacham Dawada Bath Shabai Ashafwa Wayaba'a Alya Waya Shakab Ainha Wathalad Bun Yakwara Shamwa Shalamha Shalama Yahawa Ahabwa, verse 25. Waya Shalak Bayad Nathan Hana Baya'a Wayakora Shamwa Yad Ba'ai Yahawa, verse 26. Verse 26. Wayalakam Wayaba Wayslaki Yawa'ab Barabath Bunya I'm a one Wayalakad Af Ayar Hamala Waka, verse 27. Wayashalak Wayaba Salaki Yawa'ab. I does not get Joab's name right. Yawa'ab Malakium Al Dawada Wayamar Nala Kamathya Baraba Gum Lakadathya Af Ayar Hamayam. That's it. I'm gonna get Joab's name right somehow. All right, let's go ahead and read this in the English. All right, let's go to read 2 Samuel chapter 12, 21 through 27. All right.
2 Samuel, verse 12. Slightly. Chapter 14, chapter 12, verse 21. Then said his servants unto him, what thing is that? Salati. Then said his servants unto him, what thing is it that thou hast done? Thou didst fast and weep for their child, while it was alive. But when the child was dead, thou didst rise and eat bread.
So now they're confused a little bit. They're like, man, you fasted all this time. The child was alive. Now the child is dead, and now you're going to go ahead and eat? Go ahead.
Verse 22. And he said, while the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, who can tell whether the Most High will be gracious to me, that the child may live? Verse 23. But now he is dead. Wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? And shall go to him, but he shall not return to me. Verse 24. And David comforted Bathsheba, his wife, and went unto her, and lay with her, and she bare a son, and he called his name Solomon. And the Most High loved him.
Now we know the story about Solomon. Solomon is the one that's actually going to build the temple of the Most High. And actually Solomon we'll talk about who Solomon actually really is, because he's actually one of the we'll talk about who Solomon is. Go ahead.
Verse 25. And he sent by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he called his name Jedediah, because of the Most High. Verse 26. And Joab fought against Rabbah of the children of Ammon, and took the royal city. Verse 27. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah and have taken the city of waters.
Excellent. Good job. All right. This is our last scripture read. And afterwards, we have a little bit of time. If anybody wants to have any questions about something else, we can answer it. All right. And like I said, if I don't have the answer, I will definitely talk to General Hyman. On Thursdays is scripture breakdown. And we either you tune in here or you tune in to General Hyman. And General Hyman always does scripture breakdowns of any difficult scriptures. So if I'm not able to answer it, we'll definitely give it to General Hyman, and we'll definitely get the answer back to you. Or I'll show people how to call in or type in for a scripture breakdown Thursday night. Connie Slack, you have a question?
Yeah, I was just wanted to verify, and it's basically the judgment of his son dying was because he took he got the guy
Because he
killed
took
and took his
Uriah.
wife.
Because he took Bathsheba, Uriah's wife, and he killed Uriah.
Yeah.
So he had to pay for that. Really, David should have died. But David, he had mercy on David because, he said, that I would raise up a seed after you. All right, this is the last scripture read. We're reading 2 Samuel 12. We're reading 28 through 31 and then 13, 1 through 3. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 28 in the Hebrew. Wa'aitha asap of Yathar ha'ain ha'kana al ha'ayar walakada pun alakad anya af ha'ayar wanakora shamya alya. Verse 29. Waya asap dawada of call ha'ain wayalak rabatha wayalakam baha wayalakada. Verse 30. Verse 30. While you quack off, Aitaraf, Malakam, Ma'al, Ra'ashwa, Wama Shakwala, Kakar, Zahab, Wa'aban, Yakura. So like Yakura, Watha Haya, Al, Ra'ash, the Wada, Washalal, Ha'ayar, Hawa Tazaya'am, Harabab, Ma'ad, verse 21, Wa'af, Ha'ain, Ashar, Maha, Hawa Tazaya'am, Wayasham, Bama Garab, Waba Karatazaya, Habarazal, Waba Magazaraf, Habarazal, Ha'aybayar, Awafam, Bamalakan, Wakan, Ya'isha, Lakal, Arya, Bunya, I'm a one, Wayashab, Dawada, Wakal, Ha'ain, Wayara Shalom. So like Yerushalayim. Verse, this is 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 1. Wayahaya, Achar, Akaria, Khan, Wala Abba Shalom, Ban, Dawada, Akawaf, Yapa, Washama, Thamar, Waya Haba, Amo Nawan, Ban, Dawada, verse 2. Waya Tazar, La Ama Nawan, La Hafa Kalawaf, Ba'ibawar, Thamar, Akafwa, Kaya, Bathawala, Haya'a, Wayapala'a, Ba'ayanya, Amawanan, Amanawan, La Aishawaf, Laha, Wama, verse 3. Waya one Rai, Washamwa, Waya Nadab, Bun, Shemaiha, Akya, Dawada, Waya one Nadab, Ayash, Hamas, Kum, Ma'ad, and that's it. All right, this is our last scripture read. Let's read 2 Samuel 12, 28 through 21. 28 through 31, and then 13, 1 through 3.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 28. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together, and encamp against the city, and take it, lest I take the city, and it be called after my name. Verse 29. And David gathered all the people together, and went to Rabbah, and fought against it, and took it. Verse 30. And he took their king's crown from off his head, and weight whereof was a talent of gold with the precious stone, and it was set on David's head. And he brought forth the spoil of the city in great abundance.
Stop right there. If you look at Revelation, remember Yahushua Christ, he has many crowns on his heads. And why? Because those are the kingdoms that he's going to take. Those are the kings and kingdoms that he's going to take. And that's why he has many crowns. Because anciently, when you took over a city and the king, you took the king's crown. Okay? And that's why Yahushua Christ, he's going to have many crowns. Because he's going to take many cities of our enemies when he returns. Go ahead.
Verse 31. And he brought forth the people that were therein, and put them under saws, and under harrows of iron, and under axes of iron, and made them pass through the brickling. And thus did he unto all the cities of the children of Ammon. So David and all the people returned unto Jerusalem.
This is going to happen in the kingdom as well. You know how the Moab and Ammon, pretty much Chinese and Japanese and Koreans and all of them that come into our neighborhoods and take advantage of us and cause us to be under, and they take our money and build up their communities. It's going to be reverse. We're going to take of their stuff and they're going to build up our communities. Okay, it's just going to be reversed. All right, go ahead and continue.
2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 1. And it came to pass after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister whose name was Tamar, and Ammon, the son of David, loved her.
Okay, so this is one of the penalties that David had to pay. One of the sons loves his, pretty much his half sister, or pretty much, he loved Tamar, so she was obviously a beautiful sister. Okay, go ahead.
And Ammon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin.
Now, a virgin pretty much is an unmarried woman, but a woman of marriageable age. Okay, so he desired his sister, pretty much, and this happens too, especially with men. We'll have that demon on us until we sleep with the woman. Then the demon goes away. So he's lusting after his sister. All right, go ahead.
And Ammon thought it hard for him to do anything to her. Verse 3. But Ammon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shemaiah, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man.
So he's a very crafty man, per se. All right, and he was going to use him pretty much so that he can, talk to his sister. And that's it. Go ahead.
In verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
He say,
let me go back.
In chapter 12, verse 31.
Uh-huh.
And he brought forth the people that were therein and put them under saws. What the saws like? Talking about like a saw.
I'm thinking that it's pretty much they put them in some form of slavery.
Some form of slavery.
Yeah. Now I don't know exactly. I'll have to ask Jeremiah about what it means exactly, like saws or harrows of iron, but pretty much they put them like, they're in chains, they're enslaved. That's the context of it. But I'll check with General Muhammad when he says they put them under saws.
What about brickling?
And Pat made them pass through brickling.
Mm-hmm.
It's some form of slavery that they had. What I would think is because pretty much the heathen has to build up our cities. But I'll check with it's actually in Jeremiah, where it talks about how they're going to build up, or in Isaiah it talks about how the heathen will build up our cities. Our cities are going to look great because of the heathen. They're going to build it up, just like how we built up this country. We built Washington, D.C. We built all these cities for the heathen. The heathen is going to do that for us. Kellen, did you have a question? Oh, okay. All right. That's the scriptures scripture reading. Did anybody have any other questions though? Any questions or anything like that? Doesn't necessarily have to be on the topic today, but do you have any questions? Come. Oh, go ahead, sister. Go ahead. Look, come. Give her a hand. Right? And what the sister's doing is you should be listening so you can catch on. Like, it's just like with any language, you'll start to recognize words and stuff like that words and phrases, and after a while, it'll just be second nature. Like, absolutely. When David had to eat when they were asked, they served him bread, he didn't eat. Absolutely. All right. Get a question.
I didn't check with General Muhammad. I
Come.
didn't check with any of them. I ain't even checked Cat.
Come.
But that lady asked about concubine. Cat from forgot his name, from Puerto Rico.
Okay. What were concubines?
Yeah, Cat from Puerto Rico, and the Cat from Virginia school. They advised me. They told me that the concubine was a regular. It came from when the two kingdoms split, and we
Con.
was fighting each other.
Con.
And when the women that they took were concubines, but they were Israelite women.
Con.
They
Con.
just wives that you got from a war.
Con. No sweat.
They stated in the Bible as a concubine, just to let you know he acquired his wife
Through war.
through war.
Con. Right. No sweat. That's a good one. No sweat. Con. That the men acquired through a war.
But they still Israelite women.
Israelite women.
And they still get everything.
Con.
You still follow every law with that wife.
Con. No sweat. That's good. That was a good one. Con. Any other questions, comments? All right. Go ahead, Cam. A concubine?
Yeah.
So, do you want to explain? Go ahead. I'll let you explain.
All right. So, in the world, I think they interpret concubine as like somebody that you just having sex with outside your wife. So, like a side piece today, they would call it like in the world they call it like a concubine. You got a wife, you got a side joint, they call it a concubine, right? But in the Bible, a concubine is a woman that you acquired through war, right? So like we Israel, you pose it as the book teaches, as the Bible teaches, you only have sex within your race, right? You shouldn't have sex outside of your race. So a concubine, at one point in time, our race, our kingdom, our nation split into two. We had a lower kingdom and an upper kingdom, and we used to war with each other. And when we was warring with the other person, we killed them and we took, I guess we took some of that cattle and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If some people would see a woman, her family might have gotten killed in war, and they would like her, and they want to take her as a wife. If you acquire her after war and her family's been killed, then they just call it a concubine in this book to let you know that he acquired this wife through war.
And let me give you that answer your question, Ken. And let me give you a precept to that. There's a precept to answer that. It's in Deuteronomy 21, verse 10. There's a precept to that. It's in Deuteronomy 21, verse 10. It says, when thou goest forth to war. So this is part of the law that the Most High gave to Moses. It says, when thou goest forth to war against thy enemies, and the Most High our power hath delivered them into thy hands, and thou hast taken them captive. Verse 11, and seest thou among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, thou wouldest have her to be thy wife. So if you're going to war, and a lot of times this is because Israel would war all the time too. Israel was always fighting against each other as well. And you go and you would see during wartime, you won the war, but you see a beautiful woman, okay, and you would like to have her, okay. Verse 12. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails. Verse 13. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thy house, and beware her father and her mother for a full month. So that, gives her time to mourn, because if you went to war, she's probably lost father, mother, sister, brother. And after that, thou shalt go into her and be her husband. When it's saying go into her, you sleep with her. Because in the Hebrew culture, sex is marriage. You sleep with a woman, that's your wife. All right? And she shall be thy wife. Okay? And that's a precept to that. To answer to and so that's pretty much what a concubine was. A woman you acquired through war, wartime. All right. Any other questions?
It's just letting know, just to say it again. They couldn't go to war with another nation and take their wife. Because you can't marry somebody outside of your nation. Right? So yeah, so don't think this was for another woman outside of it. We went to war with Esau. You couldn't take an Edomite woman from war and marry.
And that's in Deuteronomy 7. That's in Deuteronomy 7. If you want to just see that it says you're not to take a woman from another nation and sleep with her.
So these only Israelite women.
Yeah, only women of your nation. All right. Any other questions? Good question. That was good. I learned something new too. All right. With that, Imani, just the people up here, just stand. This cup, someone having this cup. Let me get the other cup.
La Yasha Allah.
All right, so for this, the young men over here, men of Israel, Imadium, which means to stand. Gird up thy loins and prepare to salute the Torah. Yahweh Bashim Yashaprak Yah. Step up a little bit. Imadium Shabbat. There you go. Imadium Barak to your chest and touch. Yahweh Bahashim. Yahweh Shai. Barak. Yah. All right. Stand hands and feet together first. Okay. And then you go step to the right, going like this. Yep, step to your right. There you go. Step back in. Or hand. Right hand. All right. And then touch the Torah. Yahweh. Bahashim. Yahweh Shai. Barak. Yah. All right, this is for everybody. We're going to be doing the prayers by Imadium, which means to stand.
Wakpanya Hakwadam. That means rise and face the east.
So we're going to be facing this one. So y'all are already facing the correct way. 1, 2, 3. We're going to be reading the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Then we're going to read it in the English. All right, and you can just follow along, and you can repeat after us. The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanaw. Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Quadash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakwaska. Saba'ah. Retazayaka. Hayah. Asha. Aratiza. Kawab. Hayah. Vashemayim. Nathanlanau. Lakam. Call. Your wall. What's the lock now? Kabawak now. Kasalak now. Kabawafia now. Wala Let me iron out. Banasaya one. A ball. Hawashina. Mayan. Ra. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Waha'ala. Wahapapa Aras. La'ai Walamium. Aman.
And in the English, our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
hallowed
be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done
In earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread.
our daily
And
bread,
forgive us not our debts,
and forgive us our debts
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not
And lead us not
into temptation,
into temptation,
but deliver us
but deliver us
from all evil.
from all evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it. This is Hakak, the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashim Yahawashi.
Bahashim Yahawashi.
Baba Kwasha.
Baba Kwasha.
Nathan Lanam.
Nathana now.
Hakak.
Hakat.
Hakak.
Hakat.
Larapa'a.
Lara Pa'a.
Kamakala.
Kamakala.
Wakol Madawa.
Wakol Marawa.
Hakak.
Hakat.
Latahar.
Latahar.
Hamatazariah.
Hamatazariah.
Hakak.
Hakat.
Lahakiam.
Lahakim.
Hamathiam.
Hamakim.
Hakak.
Hakat.
Araka'awa.
Arakawa.
Hatama'ala.
Hamatarai.
Lagarashan.
Laga Rashan.
Bahashim Yahawashi.
Bahashim Yahawashi.
Fawad Aman.
Water Aman. And in the English, Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahawashi.
In the name of Yahawashi.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the
The
power.
power to heal.
The power to heal
All manner
all manner
of sickness
of sickness
and all manner
and all manner
of disease.
of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the leper.
The power to raise the
The
dead.
power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean
The
spirits.
power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out.
To cast them out.
In the name of
In
Yahawashi.
the name of Yahawashi.
Thank you so big.
Thank you so big. Go ahead. All right, this is the blessed Israel. This is the blessed Israel. Yahweh. By Hashem Yahawashi. Barak Lanawa. Wayasha'ala. Wahabayah. Saparia. Barak. Rapah. Magun. Hagun. By Hashem Yahawashi. Fawad Aman. And in the English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahawashi. Bless us and Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect. In the name of Yahawashi. Thank you. So be it. These are the blessings. All right. Barakatha Yahweh. Wa Yahawashi. Wa Mayaka Allah. Wa Alahayim. Matazab Ya'ah. Alawak Yahana. Ha Alawakyam. Ha Saranyam. Ha Kwatazayanyam. Ha Kayayalyam. Wa Ha Akwakyam. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashim Yahawashi.
Bahashim Yahawashi.
The water among.
The water Aman.
And then the English.
Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahawashi.
And Yahawashi.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angel.
And the angel.
Commanding General Yohana.
Commanding General Yohana.
The general.
The general.
The captain.
The captain.
The officer.
The officer.
The troopers.
The troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sister.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of
In
Yahawashi.
the name of Yahawashi.
Thank you so big.
Thank you so big. This is Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Aisha'ah.
Aisha.
Ayanya.
Ayanya.
Ahahariah.
Al-Hahari.
Ma'ayan.
Ma'ayan.
Yaba'ah.
Yaba'a.
Isariah.
Azari.
Isariah.
Azari.
Ma'ayin.
Ma'ayin.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Shamayam.
Shamayan.
Wa'aratiza.
Wa'aratiza.
Al-Yathan.
Al-Yathan.
Lamawat.
Namawat.
Regalka.
Regolika.
Al-Yanawam.
Al-Yanawan.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Hana.
Hana.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yanawam.
Yanawan.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Yayashan.
Yayashan.
Shawamar.
Shamamar.
Yasha'al.
Yasha'al.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tazalka.
Tazal.
Al-Yad.
Al-Yad.
Yamyaka.
Yamyanka.
Yawamam.
Yawaman.
Hashamash.
Hashamash.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yakaka.
Yakaka.
Wayarak.
Wayarak.
Balayala.
Balayara.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamarka.
Yashamarka.
Makora.
Makora.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Apnapashka.
Aknapashka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Taza'afka.
Taza'afka.
Wawala Aka.
Wabawa.
Mayatha.
Mayatha.
Wa'ai.
Wa'ai.
Awalam.
Alawam.
Aman.
Aman. And in the English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes into the hill.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will keepeth thee.
He that keep,
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thine shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming from.
and thy coming in,
Salaki, and thy coming in.
and thy coming in,
From this time forth
from this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
So be it.
So be it. This is Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim.
Alahayim.
Al Damayalaka.
Al Damala Yakah.
Al Fakarash.
Al Dakarash.
Ra'al Fashakwat.
Wa O Dakakwash.
Al
Al
Kayahana.
Kayahana.
Awayab Yaka.
Awayab Yakah.
Yahama Yawan.
Yahama Yawan.
Womashanayaka.
Womashanayaka.
Nasha'awa.
Nasha Awa.
Ra'ash.
Ra'ash.
Al Imaka.
Al Imaka.
Ya'ira Yamwa.
Ya Al Yamya Wa.
Sawad.
Sawad.
Wayafayai Tazawa.
Wayataya I Tazawa.
Al Tazaka One Yaka.
Al Tazawan Kata.
Amarwa.
Amar.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Wanakakidum.
Wanakakiram.
Magoya.
Magola.
Willa
Wala
Yazakar.
Yazakar.
Sham Yasha'al.
Sham Yasha'al.
Iwa.
Iwa.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Nawa I Tazawa.
Naya I Tazawa.
La.
La.
Yakadwa.
Yakadwa.
Al Yaka.
Al Yaka.
Baryaf.
Waryaf.
Yakaratwa.
Yakarashpa.
Ahoya.
Ahoya.
Adawam.
Adawam.
Womashamai Aliyam.
Wayashamai Alawam.
Mawa'aba.
Mawa'aba.
Wahagarian.
Wahagarian.
Gabal.
Gabal.
Wa'amawan.
Wa'amawan.
Wa'amalak.
Wa'amalak.
Halashaf.
Halashaf.
Amyashabya.
Amyashadwa.
Tazawar.
Tazawar.
Gum Ashawar.
Gum Ashawar.
Nalawa.
Nalawa.
Imam.
Ayam.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Zarawai.
Zabarwa.
Labunya.
Labunya.
Lawat.
Lawat.
Salah.
Salah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Laham.
Laham.
Kamadian.
Kamadian.
Kasayasara'a.
Kasayasara'a.
Kayabyan.
Kayamban.
Banakal.
Banakal.
Koyashwan.
Kawashwan.
Nashamadwa. You shut the
Nashawashwan.
door? Go ahead. Go ahead. No, not so. You stay. Here we go. So Nashamadwa. Ba'ayam. Da'ara. Hayawa. Daman. La'adama. Shayatamwa. Nadayamawa. Ka'ira. Wakaza'aba. Wakazabak. Wakazazolmanai. Call. Nasaka. Select. Nayasayakamwa. Ashar. Amarwa. Nayarashad. Lanawa. Af. Na'awaf. Alahayim. Alahaya. Shayatamwa. Kagogala. Kakwash. Lapanya Raka. Ka'ash. Saba Ira Ya Ira. Wakalahaba. Salahat. Harian. Kam. Saradakma.
Radakma.
Wasa'iraka.
Wasa'iraka.
Wawasapaska.
Wabawasapaska.
Sabalaham.
Nabalaham.
Mala'an.
Mala'an.
Panyaham.
Panyaham.
Kualawan.
Kualawan.
Wayabakwashma. Shemka,
Shemka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa,
where you Behold,
where you Behoa,
Ayai,
Ayai,
where you Kapar,
where you Kapar,
where you Abadwa,
where you Abadwa,
where you Da'aiwa,
where you Da'aiwa,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Asa,
Asa,
Shemka,
Shemka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Labadka,
Labadka,
all your one,
Alawan,
Al-Kal,
Al-Kal,
Ha'aratiza,
Aratiza,
Aman.
Aman. And in the English, keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
Be not still,
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For lo, if thy enemies make a tumult,
Thy enemies make a turmoil,
and they that hate thee,
and they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people,
against thy people,
and consulted against thy hidden one.
and consulted against thy hidden.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
and let us cut them off from being a nation,
and let us cut them off from being a nation.
that thy name of Salaki, that the name of Israel
That the name of Israel
may be no more in remembrance.
may be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted again together with one consent.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom
And the tabernacles of Edom,
and the Ishmaelites
and the Ishmaelites,
of Moab
of Moab,
and the Hagarene,
and the Hagarene,
Gabal
Gabal,
and Ammon
and Ammon,
and Amalek
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
the Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur has also joined them.
Asher is also joined with them.
They have Hopland, the children of Lot.
They have opened the children of Lot.
Salah,
Salah,
do unto them as unto the Midianites,
Do unto them as unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
and as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of Kisar,
at
at
the
the
brook of
brook of
Kissar,
Kissar,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb,
Make their nobles like a red,
and like Zeid.
and like
like
Seed.
Yea,
Yea,
all the princes of Zabah,
and all the princes of Sabbath,
and as Zalmunna,
and as the moon,
who said,
who said,
let us take to ourselves
let us take to
the
ourselves
houses
a house
the houses
of Yahweh in possession.
of Yahweh in possession.
O my power,
O my power,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as they stumble before the wind,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the fire burneth the wood,
as a fire burns the wood,
and as the flame setteth the mountains on
and
fire.
as the flame sets the mountains on fire.
So persecute them
So persecute
with
them
thine tempest,
with thy temper,
and make them afraid
and
make them afraid
with thine storm.
with thy storm,
Fear their faces with shame,
fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name,
that they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh,
Let them be confounded
let them be confounded
and troubled forever.
and troubled forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame
let them be put to shame
and perish,
and perish,
that men may know
that men may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the most high
over the Most High,
over all the earth.
over all the earth.
So be it.
So be it. These are the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh,
Blessed are you, Yahweh,
King of heaven and earth,
King of heaven and earth,
and all things living.
and all things living.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh Shah.
listen to us now.
Listen to us now,
Right now.
right now.
Send evils and curses
Say evils and curses,
and punishment and destruction
and punishment and destruction
to the heat
to the heat
that speak against
that
us.
speak against us.
Thy prophet,
Thy prophet,
the teacher,
the teacher,
the prince,
the prince,
the priest,
the priest,
the Israelite brother,
the Israelite brothers,
and the school,
and the school.
send evils and curses,
Send evils and curses,
and punishment and destruction,
and punishment and destruction
to the heat,
to the heat,
and shake loose the treasure
and shake loose the treasure
of the rich of Israel,
of the rich of
that
Israel
refuse to give to the school,
that refuse to give to the school.
force their riches,
Force their riches
to enter to thy
to
sanctuary,
enter into thy sanctuary.
send evils and curses,
Send evils and curses,
and punishment and destruction
and punishment and
to
destruction
the Edomites,
to the Edomites,
and the nation,
and the nation,
and their drug
and
dealers,
their drug dealers,
the court
the
system,
court system,
the prison
the
system,
prison system,
Planned Parenthood,
Planned Parenthood,
all the governments of our enemies,
all the governments of our enemies,
Amalek synagogues and arms,
Amalek synagogues and arms,
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic Church,
the
the
Pope,
Pope,
Islam,
Islam,
Christianity,
Christianity,
Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia, Ku Klux Klan,
Ku Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation,
Aryan Nation,
skinheads, Posse Comitatus,
Posse Comitatus,
the gay movement,
Gay movement,
the lesbian movement,
the lesbian,
spies,
Spies,
workers of witchcraft,
workers witchcraft,
National Space Program,
National Space Program,
Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Wall Street, open up the internet,
open up the internet
and the airway,
and the airway,
the cable access channel,
cable access channel, Convict the spirit
of any of thy people
of any of thy people
that seek to stop
that
us
seek to stop us
and bring swift destruction
and bring swift destruction.
all the heathen
All the heathen
that stand in the way
that stand in the way
or try to stop
or try to stop us
from broadcasting your word
from broadcasting your word
throughout the planet.
throughout the planet.
Let loose all the plague.
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 Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro
through the earth.
through the earth
And consume them.
and consume them.
Let the plague.
Let the plague
Shake the house of the thief.
shake the house of the thief
And the murder.
and the murder.
Let Yahweh shine.
Let Yahweh shine.
Michael and Gabriel.
Michael and David
Come down with the flying sauce.
come down with flying sauce
And punish all the heathen.
and punish all the
That
heathen
come up against
that
us.
come up against
As
us
we speak thy word.
as we speak thy word.
Cause it be known.
Cause it to be known
By all.
by all
That is the angel.
that is the
That
angel
have done it.
that have done it.
Cause it to be spread.
Cause it to be spread
Through the media.
through the media
Throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause it to shake it thy come.
Cause it to shake it thine
In the
countenance.
name of Yahweh
In the
Shai.
name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you always.
Thank you always.
So be it.
So be it.
Saw, which means return. Sister Yeshua, which means to sit or return. I never works when the general said.
Right.
This completes the service. This concludes the service.
We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Saw, which means turn. Men of Israel, Amadiam, Amadiam Shabbat, Amadiam, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shabbat,
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahyamatat. We're going to give Saw, which means turn. We're going to give one courtesy salute. Sisters Amadiam. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amadiam, Amadiam Shabbat, Amadiam, Barak, Yahweh Shemal Alatham Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Yahyamatat, class dismissed.